well, everything works. Hello, everybody. Yes, my name is Bruce, and I am a singer, songwriter, and guitar player with this band. It's called Thermal and a Quarter. People call us Stack for short. So we've been a South Indian rock band for 26 years now. We've toured the world. Wow, okay. Thanks for that. Yes, so we've done a whole bunch of international tours. We've released 8 albums and 12 singles, won awards, all that good stuff. But somehow we still feel that we've still got a lot to say and a lot to do as a band. We still feel in some way that we're just getting started. So you might ask, so what is the fuel that drives this thermal engine that we seem to have? What is our elixir? What is the magic potion that keeps us going? Well, I can confirm to you that it's not money, it's not fame, it's not power, it's not even just the music, and it's not some magical, mystical thing that happens when we all get together and play, write, or record music. It's none of those things, actually. But when we do get together and perform like this, or on various different kinds of stages, or just for ourselves, a few things happen, and those few things are what we attribute as being the key ingredients for this magic potion, this elixir, if you will. And I'm going to list them out, and we're going to talk about them with some support from some music as well, because that's what we do better. More than speaking, I think we play better than we speak. But yeah, so number one is we stay in the moment. We stay in the moment. Number two, we've tried to stay free, and with that freedom, try to stay just a little bit mad, just a little bit crazy. It helps. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We've also tried to stay relevant and keep evolving at the same time. So those are the 3 things that we'll touch upon today, and we'll do that with help from all these people you see here on stage. We'll introduce ourselves as we go along. And we're going to start talking about number 1 right now, which is staying in the moment. So staying in the moment is something that, as musicians, we feel privileged to be able to do, because when we're performing or improvising on stage, there are few other situations in general human activity that require as much a presence of mind, as much a focus on the now, and no worries about what went before or what's going to come after. It's truly something that's essential to being a performing artist of any kind. I'm going to let Rajiv, the drummer of the band and my co-conspirator for the last 26 years, say a few words now.
Yeah, hi everybody. So there's the bass guitar, and there are 2 regular guitars, electric guitars, and there's a vocalist, and there's the drums out here. Now all these 4 instruments are speaking a different language, okay? Each of the languages are different, but saying the same thing at the very same moment, okay? And trying to communicate something that's cohesive and what ends up becoming a piece of music. So if you can just imagine that with, all different kinds of instruments and stuff, there's a lot going on out there. For this to be delivered well, there's no other option but to be present, actively present in that moment, without having any, fleeting thoughts, distractions, or any prejudices, or even expectations and things like that from what you're doing. So being in this moment in real time, delivering in a musical context with different instruments, practicing this regularly, as we've been doing as a group of people together for a good enough time, it actually helps you even in other parts of your life. It translates into relationships, into your careers, into being professional and things like that, where you focus on what's happening, what's right in front of you, and not color it with various other imaginations or experiences or expectations that you have. This being in the moment, this practicing regularly of being in the moment, I think is one of the key components of the elixir that's kept Thermal and a Quarter alive for so long. staying in the moment, playing music. That's what we love doing. So yeah, I'll pass it on to Tony to give a slightly different perspective on the same point. Yeah, Tony, go for it.
In fact, probably a completely different perspective. I'm saying the opposite. Be open to distractions, be open to being taken away. But I don't mean by, by the pretty girl or the handsome guy in the audience. I mean, be open to what the music is doing to you at that particular time. And it's a question of focus, yes, because you need to be focused on what it is that you're playing, focus on the notes, focus on the chords. But you also can spend some time and energy dedicated to focusing on what the music is doing to you. Because, as I'm sure everyone here has experienced, music is a teleportation device, it's a time machine, and it's therapy. It's all of those things. And I think there's no more an honest way that you can share your music with your band and with the audience than by letting it affect you a different way each time. Like, every different time you play a song, perhaps it brings up a different memory, or perhaps you're playing at a venue where it sounds excellent, and you're really inspired to do something. As it might just be as simple as playing one chord or one note. But my idea of being in the moment is just to let the music affect you and cause a kind of feedback loop. You affect the music back, and then feedback loop continues forever, and you explode. Okay, you don't explode, but yeah, it's fun.
Leslie, please chip in.
Yeah, so this being in the moment stuff, I think an integral part of it is to avoid this expectation of consistency. We all as musicians, we like to be seen on stage playing flawlessly, killing it every gig, but to be honest, that rarely happens, man. It's I think 80% of the gigs there's some problem or the other, and that's okay, and you can tell yourself that, yeah, we need to learn from these experiences, but when some things go wrong, there's actually no reason for it. It just goes wrong, and that's also absolutely fine. Things can go wrong. But this thing of chasing perfection and being consistent every gig, you got to let that go, right? And only then you'll actually kind of pay attention to what's really happening on stage and respond to the people who are playing. And for me, that's the fun part of playing on stage, honestly. Yeah.
Awesome. So we're going to play a little song. So yes, we don't just talk about these things, we write songs about them. So this is an old song of ours. This one goes back to 2009 or something, or even earlier. It's called Simply Be, and it's a song about being in the moment. Yes, if the ground is a hard place, stay above it. And if the sky is full of rain, the trees will love it. And if the journey takes too long, don't forget to enjoy it. And if you don't get to where you're going, don't you worry about it. And if you don't get to where you're going, it's when you simply be. Yes, if your time has not yet come, then don't be late. No, don't you be late. And if your story has not been told, don't believe in fate. And if you think you haven't got enough, why don't you eat what's on your plate?
takes a minute. Don't you let it wait. And if it only takes a minute, don't you let it wait.
A song about being in the moment. Simply be. Point number 2, stay free and stay just a little bit mad. So we're actually very privileged to have the freedom to do pretty much what we want with our art, to go where inspiration takes us and be rather unafraid about the success or the commercial value of the stuff that we put out. We've managed to find that freedom for ourselves through all the things we've done across the last 26 years. And that freedom to do something without the burden of expectation is something that artists of all kinds can really benefit from, right? And that freedom to be just a little bit crazy, it's very important. That little bit of craziness is what helps us preserve our sanity, if you will.
Yeah, and you can compare it with art, like paintings and stuff like that, where you take two colors and mix it, and the possibilities are infinite, okay? The kind of textures you can get, the kind of shades you can get, the kind of ideas you have to do what you want to do with that. Similarly with music, even if you know very, very little bit about music, or about how to play music, or you are a maestro at what you do, the possibilities that are there in front of you are infinite. And this is where you have a great opportunity to be free, be yourself, go completely mad, and do stuff that makes a difference at the end of the day. So the key, just be free, be yourself. There's infinite possibilities. We've been doing this for 25, 26 years now, written hundreds of songs. The one thing that we did was be fearless and go and do what we like to do. Tony, you want to add to that?
So I think the usual association that comes with being an independent artist or independent band or musician is that we're not answerable or beholden to the greedy corporations, big record companies, record labels, and things like that. And while this is true, what can often happen is that we can fall victim to other expectations, such as the expectations of your very audience, the people that's supposed to free you to do the things that you do. But I am not, I have not been around in the band since the inception of the band, but I've watched them since they have started. I say they because I'm talking about that time. And, compositions include everything that spans the stylistic spectrum from a barbershop quartet to verging on heavy metal. So I think as an outsider looking at this kind of a spectrum, and as being an audience before I was a part of the band, I found that I didn't have any expectations from what the music was that they were doing. And I found that when I joined the band, that was liberating for me, because I knew that as a part of the band or as a musician in the band, there were no such expectations imposed upon myself. And so that is what the freedom of this association means to me. Leslie?
Yeah, music, it takes a different kind of courage to do this, to get into this madness, right? So music for me has not been a product, it's more of a process, right? And when you listen to a song, it's like the process is kind of embedded in the product. That's what you're listening to. You're not listening to a song, you're listening to a process. And artists, and what you're actually listening to in the song is the way the artist is exploring things in the song, right? So the whole aspect of making music involves exploration, and you need to be really bloody fearless with this stuff. You can't be in your comfort zone and expect to come out with something really meaningful, right? So you have to take risks, you have to take chances, break rules after learning them, of course, and then don't follow trends. Try to explore things on your own, what give you meaning more than what's happening around you, right? So for me, that process is actually the most rewarding and it's kind of like you go through a transformative process when you do this. It's painful, but it's absolutely necessary, right? So if you won't grow if you go through difficulties. It's as simple as that. So push yourself as a musician. That's all I can say.
This song is called Sanity in Gravity.
On my head, it's a funny place. Strange things happening inside. And every time I feed my face, something deep below it cries. Who am I? What am I doing? Who am I? Why do I believe what I believe? Who are these people? Can I make them disappear? Who am I? Can I stop the world? Can I leave? Can I leave? Am I crazy? Am I wise? Cracked the mystery, and now I'm surprised. Am I crazy? Am I wise? Cracked the mystery, and now I'm surprised.
We're obviously not playing the full songs, they're much longer than this. But anyway, we have very little time left, so we're just going to say a little bit about the last one, which is staying relevant and evolving. So again, we've been quite conscious about trying to be, trying to reflect the reality that we're going through as musicians and as people living in this city. That's why we call our music Bangalore Rock. And across the last 26 years, if you listen to all of our music, which is over 100 songs right now, it's pretty much like a documentary of our lives in this city. And that evolution and that kind of trying to, again, reflect what's going on around us is, again, something that's very key to this elixir that keeps us going.
Look, a lot of musicians and artists stay away from talking about politics or about religion or racism or environment, and these seem to be topics that some people think musicians misuse or don't do it with complete integrity. But look, music is a powerful tool. It may not be the tool that can change the world, but it's a tool that can really be used responsibly to tap into the emotions of people. And a lot of guys do this. I mean, even in the music community, like people like Kendrick Lamar, or you talk about Pink Floyd from the past, even other domains like comedians, whether it's Kunal Kamra or it's David Chappelle or these guys. It's not about what's right or wrong, but it's about being honest and not turning a blind eye to what's happening right in front of you. Thermal and Quarters tried to be relevant and tried to make whatever little difference that we can with the power of influence that we've got. With that comes a lot of responsibility, and we really need to carry it forward well. So we are cautious in doing it, but that is one of the important elements of the elixir that keeps this band together, keeping it real and reacting to things that happen around you as an artist as well. Tony?
And in keeping with that idea of staying relevant, I probably want to address the idea of evolution and possessing the willingness to evolve. This can be internally by way of personal growth or changing perspectives or developing a capacity for empathy, or it could be externally in our craft by honing your craft, whether it's lyrics or music, learning something more about music, or even production techniques. So, but evolution is the continuous adaptation to continuous change. And I don't think there's any more effective way to stay relevant than to keep reacting to change that happens around you and letting that reflect in the music that you do. Leslie?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it today, right, I think it's the best time to be alive ever, right? Compared to what it was 100 years ago, today is like amazing. And if you think of it musically, there's so many different genres today. You know, it's more than what there has been before, right? And yeah, you could think of them as musical genres, but they're actually different perspectives, basically for me. You know, different genres are different perspectives on the same thing. And so when you start listening to more of these different genres, and you get a different perspective from different people from around the world, and you get to learn more about the world, and you get to learn a bit more about yourself in relation to the world also. So that is very important for a musician to evolve and like open up and listen to what's happening in the rest of the world, right? And also in terms of technology, like yeah, there's so much new technology that's coming, and I'm talking about the music domain mostly. And as musicians, I think we need to embrace and kind of integrate it into the craft that we do. Yeah.
Staying relevant, this one's called Leaders of Men. Your head is about the same size. You bleed, you cry, you get fat. Your head is about the same size. You bleed, you cry, you get fat. You lie and you cheat and you steal, just like some of us. Just like some of us. Yeah, there you are with the prize. Your rivals thrown on the mat. You rose above, you seal the deal, not like any of us. Not like any of us. Suddenly, your every word has its own gravity. Your every move is a stir. You are leaders of men. You were leaders of men, bastards now and then. Can we say well to the leaders of men, to the leaders of men, bastards now and then. Can we say well to the leaders of men? Well, looks like we've run out of time, and so that's all you'll hear from us today. Before we go, remember these ingredients, this little magic potion, it's what's worked for us. You'll have to go and find your own ingredients, your own elixir, your own magic potion to help you do things that you love for this much time in your life. And like I heard from Rajiv recently, we've learned a lot from the mistakes made by people that took our advice. So let that be a lesson to you. Let that be a lesson to you. Thank you so much. Rajiv on the drums, Leslie on bass, Tony on guitar, Bruce, Thermal and a Quarter signing off. Thank you guys for hosting us.